Hello and welcome to Snap Controller's Bloodborne first playthrough journal. I thought I'd do a little journal about playing this game because I've seen some people do walkthroughs and stuff online, and this seems the best way to do it, because rather than have you watch me over and over again, it seems better off if I just edit it together so that you don't see me die 1,000 times. I want to start off by saying I've never played any of the Dark Souls or Demon Souls games, so I had no real idea about the mechanics of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and it's a complete learning process for me, not just the fighting but equipment, everything, just everything to do with this game. I have no real knowledge of, other than I know it's really hard, and if you die, you need to do that area again. At least that's what I thought when I went into it. So anyway, here we go, first playthrough. First thing I did obviously was create a character that went from Harold Ramis lookalike to some kind of crazy old person, and then maybe Harold Ramis' sister, and then after that some crazed little duck-faced weirdo that I began to slowly turn into some kind of half-man thing with giant square jaws and a beak. I mean, look at that pretty face. And as much as I tried to toggle with it, it just seemed to make things worse, and she went from what was meant to be a woman to some horrific creature, and eventually I settled with half Terminator blonde secretary. So that was my character, and after the intros I got stuck right into the gaming. The first thing I wanted to do was learn the mechanics of attacking and making sure I didn't get hit, how to dodge, how to stay away, what the range of my weapon was. And I did this quite successfully, because in my first foray into old I can't remember the name of it, it's got to begin with a Y. I went quite far. These are the first few people that I meet, and you can quite happily get through these guys without any problem. And then once I'd got through these, I found behind the little boxes on the left hand side there that you can get Molotov cocktails. And of course, as soon as you've got a Molotov cocktail, the first thing you do is equip it. I carried on through the game cautiously, and then I found the first of these little windows with the lanterns. I'd seen them in one other walkthrough that someone else had done, and it's a great way to actually learn what the hell is going on in the game, because having played it now for a good 6 hours or so, I'm still not quite entirely sure what the hell's going on. I know I'm a hunter, and I know there's a thing called the hunt going on, and there's a load of crazy people in the streets, but I'm hoping that these guys will help me along the way. If not physically by giving me stuff, then at least a bit of knowledge. I carried on, and then at one point I tried to use my gun in ways that
You that outsider? Well, sorry, but I don't want anything to do with you. Trot along, will ya?
like I said, not always ready. This little bit was the first time I came across the bonfire. We'll just show you my actual reaction. Fuck, that's a lot of it. fucking hell, that's a lot of people. Then I found out about sneak attacks. There are some people, it's basically cheap attacks on you, and there are a lot of them in this game. It's well worth being cautious around. Eventually I did obviously attack the people around the bonfire. You have to generally draw them away. You can't fight them all at once, so you've got that guy. Obviously help, but you don't have Molotovs like you don't use them all up ridiculously like this.
Away!
As I say, this was my first playthrough. I played this all without none. I still haven't got without upgrading, without weapons, without buying skills, level up, nothing. It's all my first playthrough, and I figured at some point I would bank what I've got and love what I found. After that, I came across what would be one of the harder victims in the early part of the game. This big bastard pounding on the door. He's got a hammer for a fist, and I knew it would be a massive pain in the arse. I wanted to make sure that there was nothing else around before I attacked him, so I checked all the left-hand side, the far end, where there's a few ravens. I know there's some more enemies up the other stairs, but they don't seem to come down and attack you while you're facing off against the big fat cleric man. I looked at the amount of life I had, which, you know, was the blood vials, and I knew that with 9 blood vials, there's every chance, even if I hand-fist it and keep getting hit by this giant geezer, there was every chance that I'd be able to kill him.
Reckon you're from round here? Well, duck out.
So I took him on, and I started off very cautiously, because I knew that he would be difficult. The life bar, obviously, and the massive hammer on his fist. He has a couple of big attacks. He has one where he does a flurry of 3 attacks, and then the worst one where he does a jumping sort of attack like this. Does it. But over time, I used the health potion, and eventually, and then having taken out what I considered one of the tougher things I've found in this first area so far, I figured that pressing on would be dangerous, knowing full well that if I died I lose all of the progress that I've made so far and all of the blood vials, so I wouldn't be able to upgrade, and I'd have to get back to this area past that guy at the same time. So having taken out these few beasts and strange people here, I moved on and I went up some stairs and I saw 2 fucking giant werewolves, and it was at that point I thought, nope, it's time to go back. So I did. Despite having 14 blood vials, I ran back. I ran all the way back. From as far as I got, I went all the way back to the beginning, to that lantern section, thinking I'll bank all of this and I'll come back, those werewolves I'll get next. But because I hadn't played Demon Souls, and because I hadn't played Dark Souls, I didn't realise that this was my first mistake. I went back to the little Hunter's Dream place, I went and looked at the doll again, and then I realised the doors were open, so I could go up and talk to a crazy old farmer boy in his wheelchair. And once I'd spoken to him, I knew that I could spend my blood vials and level up and all the other things that you can do with that experience that you have garnered. I even went to the little underdwarf midget smurf thing's shop. This guy looks all weird. Odd. But I went to the shop and bought myself a load of cool gear. I made sure that I had vials and bought the entire Highwaywoman collection, spring fall collection, 2012, not 2012, it'd be like 9012. but she looked pretty cool. So obviously I knew that this was upgraded stuff, so I was feeling more confident. I still had all those blood vials. I'd upgraded and repaired my weapons. I was thinking, that's it, I'm going to go and take on those werewolves. So I went back to the grave and launched myself back into the or whatever the name of the place is, I can't remember. And it was only then, I realised that even when you don't die, if you go back to Hunter's Dream, everything resets. And if you go down to the stairs on the right hand side, that first ending turns up. And that was a good 3 hours worth of play, and that was the point I realised that I would have to do that entire thing again. And then I ended up doing stuff recklessly. This is the first of the journey. Hopefully I'll be out of Yemen for episode 2. Bye!